to the American Dreamer Show. I'm here with John Casimiro and James Worley, and this is our fifth.
You know what I was thinking, Bill? This is just a pre-show. This is just kind of like, hi, everybody. I think I would like to take this. I want this to be my baby. Okay, the pre-show is John's show, right? And which will be like 5 minutes, right? Thank you. The pre-show will be like 5 minutes, and then we'll do the regular show.
I think
right?
we take over the whole.
And then in the meantime, Bill can not be nervous and just get ready.
I'm not nervous.
Practice your guitar, just
Yeah, really, Bill. I mean,
chill,
chill, Bill. Are you a chill, Bill?
Chill, Bill. It's all
Chill,
good.
Bill.
We're getting ready to kill Bill.
Who's
Yeah.
this guy?
Who's this?
That's
Chill, Bill.
David.
Come on,
David.
Bill.
First-
Can you hum a few bars on that thing, will you?
Yeah. Play a little
Come on.
music
Yeah,
for
let's
us.
go.
I think we need to just
John
keep it as it is.
But
And let's
John-
get ready for next time.
But John
We'll
wants
try
to
it
go,
out.
He wants to be like the warm up.
I'm the warm-up. Exactly. I'm the warm-up
The
act.
warm up act,
Let's
Bill.
let's do
He
it
just
when
keeps-
we have a
he
chance
just
to
keeps-
do it.
Cowbell.
He keeps kicking
And,
the man
and
to
James, when you're on the video, you can see yourself with the food and the,
don't pick
the
your nose.
drink
Don't pick your nose
What's
on
wrong with
camera.
that?
because it's not professional.
Get
Well,
rid
that's
of the
a-
water. We don't need it. Billy told cup.
That's
I think we should start the show. Let's start.
let's do it.
Start
Let's
the
do
real
it. This is
show.
what happens every time. We had three.
Yeah. Let's start the real
This is
show.
a real deal, Bill.
Yeah,
Can we do a
let's-
little rehearsal first? What are we going to talk about?
Well, that's what the warm up is.
Yeah.
That's right. We also do this when we did the television program, Bill. Remember? We talked about things first. We talked about what we're going to do. You know,
I have it
you
done. I've
might,
written
get
this
my
stuff.
name wrong, Bill. I mean, if
He
you
might.
don't practice, I mean, there's a
Bill.
lot of pressure on you, Bill. I mean,
Yeah.
It's always a lot of
this
pressure
is
on
the
me.
Cephakar Studios, directed by Bill Cephakar, produced by Bill Cephakar, played by Bill Cephakar,
Okay,
hosted by Bill Cephakar.
Right.
This is
let's
this
get
is
started. Come on,
started
let's
by
get
Bill
started.
Cephakar.
Let's do this.
Come on, let's just
We
do
are
it.
started.
No, let's do the real podcast. Let's do
Yes.
the real. Hit the button. Hey, come on, let's go.
Okay.
That's
Let's
it.
go.
Ready?
Ready.
Hit it.
Hello. Welcome to the American Dreamer Show. I'm Bill Cephakar. I'm here with my illustrious group of production crew and input people, and we have our first guest to join us on this podcast journey. And this is the fifth show, John,
Fifth show
of the month. And
of the
fi-
month.
And the fifth show, that means of January.
Okay.
And of the year, the new year, 2019. So it's also
It's been
show
a busy
number
month.
Busy, thanks to you guys. And this is the 16th show in the series of the American Dreamer journey. And we have a bunch of things, interesting things that are coming up, some surprises ahead, even for you guys.
Oh, surprises for us.
Yes.
Did you order pizza? Is that the surprise?
No, actually, it's one of my chili concoctions.
Oh, it's a chili cook-off. Okay.
Yes, yes. And
Yeah.
hopefully you can walk off after
All
you have some of that.
Oh boy.
it's a hot stuff,
Uh-oh.
the hot
Okay.
tamales.
James doesn't like hot stuff.
Well, we can put a couple of ice cubes in it, so we can cool it down. But
What do we got in store for the show today?
well, there's some amazing things that happened in the last week. Always, my life has been amazing.
You have a guest on the show?
We have a guest, one of my very dearest friends, Dr. David Kalin. And he's a very dear friend because I've known him over 35 years.
Wow.
Is he here already?
He's here in the studio,
Oh,
live from Tampa.
actually, if
Hey.
you clean up. and-
Hi, Bill. I mean, it's a pleasure to be here on this. What did you say? 15th show or
16th. Let's get
16th
Wow.
show, fifth show of the season, the last
But who's
day of
counting?
January.
Who's counting?
Bill,
Yes.
I'm impressed.
Well, I hope you say the same thing after we finish.
You've
the
gone a
show.
long way from the old days, Bill, when you were working out of community access. You know,
Yeah.
you got your own studio right here. You got your own television program.
Yes.
I mean, Bill,
Wow.
you've gone a long way from
Come a long way,
to
baby.
being the speaker of the program here, buddy.
Well, I hope the quality is as good as you're planning it to be from what you've given us our intro on. But there's a lot of stuff that happened this week. One of the things I wanted to share with you was on Facebook that General Colin Powell one of my heroes of all time, present, past, and whatever.
Wasn't he in Emerson, Lake and Powell, the band? Oh no, that's Cozy Powell. I'm sorry.
And no, that he was chief of staff of
Right, I know who he is.
you know, and so he had a little problem. He had a flat tire on his way to Walter Reed Army Hospital, and there was a
Oh,
they call that's Colonel Powell here, General Powell. So actually, I'm going to show that's my tablet, and we're going to have to get rid of that because that buzzer keeps going. But anyway, he was helped by none other than a retired Army veteran who served in Afghanistan, who happened to lose one of his legs. And I'm going to show you this I have it on Facebook. And he stopped to help General Powell, Colin Powell. And it was an amazing transformation of bonding. And General Powell was very, very
touched, thankful.
touched. Yes. And I want to show you this because,
You going to show it to us on your tablet?
well, we're going to bring it up front and in person.
You're going to show it to the rest of the people
Yeah.
so we can talk
Okay.
about it. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Gotcha. There
Here
he
it is right here. There's
Right.
Colonel Powell, General Powell, with the fellow who helped him. And you can see he has,
So for our audience at home, there's a picture of General Powell. Let me see it.
well, I can see, I'm going to show it up here. You can see it up there. And he has his, he's fixing the tire.
Okay.
And he had that problem because his, his leg was amputated
Right.
from the Afghan conflict. And they bonded and Colonel Powell,
General
said,
Powell, Bill.
Colin.
General
His name is Colin
Colin
Powell.
Powell.
Colin.
General Colin
Yes,
Powell.
he worked a long time to become a general,
That's
and
right.
that's what he wants to be called.
Okay. So that's what was part of that story. And what made it even more remarkable, and here's him fixing the tire, is that it just so happens my third book that I'm working on, it worked for me. Little did I know when I came up with that blog post and domain name, that's the name of Colin Powell's book, General Powell.
Get out of here. Are you serious?
We on television, we on Podcast City.
Really? So you have to rename your book.
No,
You're not going to rename your book.
the reason is that the good Lord said, Bill, change something, do it a little excitement. So instead of FOR for work for me,
Yeah.
I inserted number 4. So my podcast and domain name, it worked for me with the number 4.
You still have the other one? Because he's going to want to buy it.
No,
from
I
you.
don't have that. It's a good thing I didn't because I could be under.
No, you're good. You're good.
So
You
that's
thought of it first.
all right. So I wanted to share that with you. It was really amazing, but it worked for me, has a lot of stuff, John. You're going to be helping me on this.
That's
I
what you
told-
think.
Yes, you're going to help, and I'm going to make it a really wonderful story. But you know how I like to do the word games and stuff and
Right.
crypto quotes,
Right.
jumble. Well, I happened to be teaching 5th grade last week, middle school. And what happened was I brought my guitar. James always encourages me. It's like a staple when I work my substitute teaching. And it was a cold day, so I had my John Denver outfit with the cowboy hat, and I'm traipsing through the whole campus there. I
I
was,
can see it.
it was just so amazing that this guy, what does he do? I said, "Are you a cowboy?" They wanted to know.
He's like, yes, I
Yeah,
am.
of course, I'm not going to tell him.
On a
not a
steel
cowboy.
horse I ride.
And I said, my horse is out there in the back and a trigger. And so what happened was I'm playing my songs and it was so heartwarming. This is like with the other adventures that he's teaching and singing. And there was a 5th grader and she says to me after I was singing and finishing, she says, "How do you remember all of the words and the chords and singing. And it just, this something I've been doing for so many years, and now it's really taken on such a turn and people appreciating it. I didn't know I was going to do it. David, who you're going to be hearing from, he's a great musician, and we're going to find out about that. But I said, because I use my mind, I have like 50 songs floating around there, all these chords over the years. And I do the crypto quotes every day and the jumble. And I wanted to share with you, I don't know if we're going to do it now, but there's a jumble in here.
Is that
And
today's paper?
Today's paper, which I haven't looked at. And what I do is I hold my breath and I try to do the jumble in one breath.
It's our
So
Foley.
why don't you take it out, James? Don't make all the noise. Just take it out.
Our Foley artist.
All right. Now, so, I haven't looked at this, and I take a look. There's 4 words, and give me.
Wow. Talk about like,
This is like a Houdini.
yeah.
So I'm going to show you. I'm going to hold my breath. I even hold my breath when I do this. And I look at this 4 words, and here it is. No. This is what I need.
What is going on? Someone please tell me what
All
is
right,
going on
so
here.
this is the jumble,
There's
and
people, there's
I'm gonna-
jumbles.
and here is they have after you get all the words, you take this ones that are circled
Right.
and you put it in and you figure it out. Okay, and I do this by holding my breath and without writing the pencil, without pencils. Okay,
You know how I always have that confused look? It's very
Okay.
confused
All right.
right now.
so these are the words up here.
Okay.
They're all mixed up, and you got to find the words for it.
Oh, I'm terrible at this.
And then
I don't want to
there's
play.
a what do you call it? There's a picture of these 2 fish, and it says, "Don't be shy. Let me see those beautiful golden scales." And the other fish says, "I don't think so." And then the cartoon says, "The carp that hid behind the rock in the garden pool was." This is a little tough one, but I'm gonna hold my breath and see if I get it. First word is dinky. Then prong.
I really apologize to the audience for
All
this.
right. And then
The producer was not
sinking.
This bit
In
was not
sync.
this
Sync.
this bit was not
This
run by the
wasn't
producer.
rehearsed.
It
Yeah.
works for me.
It worked for me. And then viable. And then you take the, what do you call it? So I got that in one breath, but then you got to take the circles around there. And I think that
Maybe we should get to the first song.
had to do with the fish's something called, anyway, because the fish was shy. So, the koi. Oh,
I'm not listening.
you remember, the name of those Japanese fish, the koi?
Yeah, I know.
So
Yeah.
that's what it was, because she was
This is not transfer
All right.
well over to
All right. So
podcast
anyway.
land.
all right. But I do the crypto quotes too every day. But that's okay, John. You can get that. Thank you, James.
So that's not a crypto quote. That's a jumble
That was
from
a
the
jumble.
from the paper.
Yeah, that was a jumble.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I think we're ready for our first selection.
Thank goodness.
And
So this is what?
This is
Paul Simon?
Paul Simon. And it's,
Is it You Can Call Me Al?
that's one of my favorite songs.
Dun, dun,
Oh,
dun,
you just-
dun, dun, dun. Is that what it
I'll
is?
call you Betty. You can call me Al.
Yeah.
See, Paul Simon liked to name women in his songs, like
Right.
Cecilia
All right, true.
and Kathy's song,
hmm
and this is for Emily, wherever she may be.
Oh, this sounds sad.
No, it's a love song, and I really wanted to do this later, but we have another woman's song,
Right.
Sweet
That's a surpri-
Caroline.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet
We're
Caroline.
gonna surprise the audience.
Oh, okay. So-
spoiler alert.
Are we almost ready, Sir James? Well, just
You're fine.
yeah, but you move. I want to get a.
You're okay.
But I'll wait till you
Go
go.
ahead, you're
I
fine.
don't know. I'll- What a dream I had, pressed in organdy, clothed in crinoline of smoky burgundy, softer than the rain. I wandered empty streets down, past the shop displays. I heard cathedral bells tripping down the alleyways as I walked on. And when you ran to me, your cheeks flushed with the night. We walked on frosted fields of juniper and lamplight. I held your hand, and when I awoke and felt you warm and near, I kissed your honey hair with my grateful tears. Oh, I love you, girl. Oh, I love you. And when I awoke and felt you warm and near, I kissed your honey hair with my grateful tears. Oh, I love you, girl. Oh, I love you. You think that's a sad song, John? Oh, it's not a sad song. Come on. Well, he had a love, and he appreciated that
He wants
love.
to know where she is now. It's yeah.
She could be right around the corner. She could be there
But
next
she's
time.
not,
I don't
and
know.
he's singing about it, and it's sad.
Yeah, they walked on frosted fields. That's one thing
Yeah.
about Paul Simon. He created such vision.
Paints
you know.
pictures with his
Oh.
words.
Oh,
Yeah.
just glows. So anyway,
She had honey hair, even.
yeah.
Yeah.
And when he awoke,
When he awoke.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's not get into
And now where is she? She's gone.
All right. So, what happened to my guitar stand? Oh, you
I don't
moved it
know.
all
Oh
over the place.
boy. Oh boy.
Okay. All right. Now we get to the fun stuff.
Okay. You used to always pass us out like little outlines, like what was coming up, and
I used to do that. I give
yeah,
you
and now I don't know what's happening.
we're having our guest.
Okay. Oh, it's the guest segment.
Yes.
You know, when a woman says she's having her guest, you know what that means, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-oh, this takes on a whole
Yeah.
family
Yeah.
show,
He's right.
David.
He's right.
What's going on?
He
I'd
said
like
it
to
in a-
know
he
the
said it in a
answer, but I
family
don't
way.
know. Should I ask you the question?
I
again?
don't know. I've just heard it. But
Well, you're the doctor. What do you say? Trust me?
You know, my dad would always say, instead of saying a woman is pregnant, he would say she's in the family way.
Oh, of
And we-
course. Or it's in the oven.
Yeah.
And then you look
yeah.
at, the microwave. I left it. Anyway, so David Kalin, Dr. Kalin, is gracing us with his presence on this show. And it gives me great pleasure. And the fact that you are our first guest, I could not think of a better first guest, except if my father or my mother was here. And that would be a miracle and a half. Thank you,
That
Sir
would be.
James.
That would be.
We are hoping to have many provocative talks and meeting, guests and stuff, but
Or
David-
not.
Huh?
Or not. They can be unintelligent.
No,
Yes,
no, we're not gonna. No, these are.
I mean,
people-
today, not today. Today's a provocative guest. Today is.
He's more than a provocative guest. He's a very, very dear friend. And David and I go back about
That in
30.
itself is provocative.
Right.
There's
Dear,
another
dear
word that I was using, and this was funny. So I've known David over 35 years. I consider part of my family, and I'm part of his family. David has contributed to my life in so many, many ways. And I try to repay and, double my dear friend, what he's done for me, his lovely wife, Heon, and their family. And it goes back, David, TV shows, book writings, musical innovator, IBMS innovator, initiator. That's the International Board of Medicine and Surgery worldwide. One health, one world. You'll hear from that. He's also classical music and a musical nomad, because when he plays, he just innovates and he's all over the place. But I love him. We do music stuff all over the place. And it's a provocateur. Now that's the one that goes with provocative, but it's because he's like a agitator, instigator. He's a rascal, resource, firebrand. But the real things are, he's a motivator, visionary. He's a moral compass.
This is a lot to live up to.
He does. He lives it every day. Spiritual advisor. This is my very, very dear friend and brother from different mothers,
Okay.
Dr. David Kalin.
Well, thank you, Bill, for being in the way-
Modest? What about you?
Well, being so modest about my
Yeah.
who I am and my character. I don't know if
Oh.
I would call myself in those ways. Nobody would, I guess. But
Can you
thank
see
you
me?
from it. Certainly, the facts are fairly straightforward and true. And I have prided myself in the fact that I have been able to think about a lot of different things along these years. And Bill has been there to sort of pick up the ideas and become the operational man for a lot of things that I've developed through the years. And he's done a great job with it. We started a program. I started it. I conceived it. The B'nai B'rith Presents Jewish Life in Tampa Bay, and we designed it over a 6-star Jewish star with the points of the community and the holidays. And we tried intergenerational, and we tried to use all those little points to be parts of developing our audience. And we had people from all over the community and political people, and we had politicians, and we had John Loftus, and we had a breaking story, of course.
We had Elie Wiesel on the show 4
Yeah,
times.
we've had all kinds of really great people, and I have to say, Bill managed this program after the other producers and directors left, and he kept it going for about 10 years. And I came
13
in.
years.
I came in with some
Wow.
cameo appearances, and of course, I'm not going to embarrass him about the one program that really blew me out. Of course, it was related to 9/11, and we had the video on the terrorism of those young kids blowing up people, and we had the video before it was even revealed on O'Reilly and all those other people. We had it like 6 to 10 months before we made a show. But Bill, in those days was working with the county, and I have to say that since those days he's really matured. Let me tell you, because in those days, if you thought
I
milk-
grew out of my puberty then.
yeah,
and
if
I'm
you thought milk toast
mature.
was milk toast, this was soggy milk toast, because we had the program, we made it. It was quite controversial, but Bill didn't want to show that program. And then 6 months later, we had 9/11, and we'd had all the
Not that we would
release
have
about
stopped 9/11, David. if
yeah, we had the
filmed it.
release about all those 5-year-old kids wearing these detonator belts from the Palestinians. And
All right. Okay.
anyhow, that's neither here nor there. Bill really did take take everything to another level. And Bill has definitely taken this to another level with his studio here, very professional. With John and James, they're all stars. It seems to me. I've never met them casually before, but they obviously from the way they present themselves and what they're doing, these are the professional people. Bill is getting up to their speed slowly, and but he is definitely. But he's definitely mature. One thing that I remembered about Bill was his eulogy for his father, and I videotaped that. As a matter of fact, you may want to show some of that on. It works for me. It worked for me to give it to him, but if he wants it. But the thing is, he didn't have any uhs. He was straightforward. He gave a great eulogy for his father, and he is a very family-oriented individual, very traditional in the Jewish tradition. Of course, he doesn't mix his milk with meat, or with his lobster or shellfish. But that's neither here nor there. But he hits the holidays. He brings the people together, and from a Jewish point of view, he carries a lot of the values, having been traditionally from a Greek heritage, a Greek Jewish heritage.
Russian, my mother.
And I might add that I didn't know his father. I never knew him when he was in his prime, when he was a part of the museum, the Hirshhorn Museum in Washington, D.C., or even when he was instrumental in developing the Ruth Eckerd Performing Arts Center. But I knew him afterwards. He lost a little weight. He lost a little height. But what a man that he was. He always had a nice thing to say for everybody. He had a stirring little wit, and Bill has really paid homage to his father all his life, and even in his death. And having created this book, Joe's Lifelong Legacy, and
American Dreamer.
American Dreamer, and I've read the book, and his father was quite a writer, and it's really worth reading. It's an interesting.
We have excerpts on the show.
Yeah,
We
it's an
always
interesting.
John has a copy of the book. I revert to it, and he says, "Okay, everybody on page, whatever." But David, I want to share with the listeners and our audience of viewers your life legacy. You have a wonderful family. The extended family. You have 8 kids with your wife, and they're grown up. How many grandkids do you have?
We have 4 grandchildren now.
All over the world.
So far.
Recent addition was one. Where this goes, man. But we have a recent addition about a few months ago, and we're very proud of all the things my children have done. So,
Put the guests to work here.
Yes.
yeah, we're looking for the hole in the guitar. There we
You
go.
know about
Okay.
electric guitars. David and
know.
I like to jam all
Yeah.
over the place at his house, my house. We do a lot
Yeah.
of. We're going to do an album too, as another CD.
Oh.
Yeah, it's
David,
called.
and
Must be jelly because jam don't shake that way.
okay, could we write that? But David, I know you're going to be on the show again. We're going to have you do stuff, but share with our viewers this life quest of the International Board of Medicine and Surgery.
Yes, well, Bill, as you know, you were part of my first family, and we all have in
And
this
the second
generation. Well, yeah, throughout the whole thing, but all of us can relate to the fact that as our culture continues to change, and as we know, it's changing rapidly now. But in the days that we are coming to how do you say, towards the sundown of
Twilight.
We're the autumn of our days.
sundown. But in any event, in those days when we were firing up, those were the days when our cultures were coming together, and blacks weren't able to marry whites too much. It started to happen in those days. Homosexuals were in the closet. I mean, anything didn't go in those days. Sexuality was starting to pick up speed, but we had a lot of divorces in our case, intermarriage and divorces, and so it affected me, and so I was divorced because of some things that happened. And
Dave,
and,
this is not the
then-
Inquirer. Tell us about how you started.
you're interested in finding.
IVMS.
That's what I'm talking about, Bill. Bill, don't be a bug in my side here. Let me get
I'm
it
at
out.
your side. I might
Okay,
as well be a bug.
So, Bill, when I had been divorced for quite a long time, I remarried. And when I remarried, I found a lovely lady, and it was a very strange situation because she says first comes love, then comes marriage, then comes a baby carriage. And I'm going like, well, let's try to make the baby first, and then the love is there, and then if everything works out, we'll get a marriage. You know what I'm saying? Well, she wasn't into that mode, and she looked very young for her age. I mean, I got fooled. She's from Korea, and very pretty, very lovely lady. And I have to say, I'm still with her after about 25 years, and it was a difficult process, but she made it happen. Actually, she had her tubes tied. And I don't, as a doctor, that's a difficult thing to get a baby out of a woman who's got her tubes tied. But, they started with the in vitro stuff after a while. We had tried to reverse the tubes by going to, actually, of all countries, Venezuela, and we had it successfully done. But she got an ectopic pregnancy, and that was pretty disastrous. And I won't get into the details about that. But what happened was, Bill, I mean, this is
he's getting to the point here. He's let him tell
this
his story.
This is going somewhere. If you cut me off, Bill, you're not going to totally understand.
I want you to tell us about One World, One Health.
Well, Bill, I'm getting there because you got to give me some space. Whose program is this, Bill? So anyhow,
whose guest is this?
Yeah, I got you started in this business, Bill. No, anyhow, you're making me lose my thought. So anyhow, we did it 3.5 times with the in vitro. Eventually, we were successful, but she went to Korea, and in going to Korea, it was a lot less expensive. Okay, and we, after spending $1 zillion, for trying to make it happen through in vitro, and then getting it for like $3,000, and it was successful. A light bulb went off in my head as a doctor that said, "Hey, there's a lot of good doctors around the world, and we think so provincially in the United States that this is the only country where we know how to do anything." And as we become more global, and this was like in the early 2000s when global concept was just becoming global, and so I started to think about that, and I started an organization called the International Board of Medicine and Surgery. Got it registered with the U.S. government through the USPTO, the United States Patent and Trademark Office, not as a trademark, but as a certification organization, the distinction of which is that we would certify these doctors, hospitals, clinics, and other medical professionals throughout the world with regard to their standards and the standards which we thought were internationally important. And so I started that with the idea, and I met Dr. Sharma. Okay, I met Dr. Sharma, and Dr. Sharma through the internet had written a book where he'd always talked about one human, one world. And so as we made our relationship more cemented, took years, because you meet people on the internet, but sometimes you don't talk with them and really meet them for like 5 or 10 years. We met each other eventually, and we've become sort of in India, everybody's your brother there in India and the Middle East. But, I mean, they have a whole new concept of brother. But we became serious partners in the development of this. And we evolved the concept of one human, one world, one health as a mission of our organization, established by developing the global doctor-patient relationship as we seek to go further into the world.
Could you provide us with some material that we could share with our audience? I have a newsletter. I have the podcast. We can get the information out to the people.
It's called IBMS.us. I as in ice, B as in boy, M as in mother, S as in Sam.us. And you can go to that website and find out a little bit about it. You can go to the hyperlinks of the YouTube library. We've been all over the world now. To many hospitals and doctors. And
every year, David has at least 2 conferences, international, all over, with the doctors get certified. His son, Avi, who is a product of how I remember when Avi was playing the piano, and he was the poster boy for IBMS. His son, Avi, is a prodigy. He plays the violin with some of the best violinists. He's about.
Well, he was in Yitzhak Perlman's orchestra, which was conducted last year.
I was
and
there
he's going to be playing, as a matter of fact, he has played at all our conferences and throughout the world, and he is going to be playing in Cuba. We're going to Cuba March 17th to 26th, and we have a conference there. I did the first conference in Cuba with sanctioned by the Cuban government between American and Cuban doctors in the last 22 years.
Wow.
And it was
we could do a whole show on that alone.
Yeah,
right?
It was quite a feat. I went before Obama went, and I met these people there, and they were dying. I won't say the word dying isn't a good word, but they were craving a relationship with
Yes,
professionals from
they
the United
want
States.
to see us,
And,
be with us.
and I came back and I said, you know what, we're going to do a conference there. And by God, 6 months later, we came back and did this fantastic conference.
Why don't you come back? Let us know how the conference came. Okay. David, I have a bunch of things that I need to, some like of my itinerary of stuff, things, because one of
You
the
mean your
major-
agenda? Is that what you're talking about? Are you going on a trip, Bill, or is that
I
is it,
am going.
or you're tripping as it is right
What a
now?
long, strange trip it's been, Bill.
I know. And I still don't know.
You're on a journey. There's no
All right.
doubt.
Yep.
David, I want you to be back here. I want you to
Are you
share
kicking
with
me
us
out
this-
already
Wait,
and
you're-
telling me to leave,
he's
or
not
what?
going
Because
anywhere.
we have a. You're our first guest. We're just trying to develop this scenario.
Oh, I see.
So but one of the things that we need to do is sign people up for a subscription to the American Dreamer Show. And a couple,
Will you listen and subscribe, David?
yes,
I'm
he
listening.
needs
I'm
to.
listening. Yeah.
All right. And
Tell me how, Bill.
well, you go on to the YouTube channel, and you're very familiar with all the stuff that you do internationally. And your Google account, you just sign on.
Where do
and
we go? Where do we sign on? Where do we go
Go-
to?
Bill Sefakar.
Wait.
YouTube.
Back up just a second here. Our main purpose is the podcast. We want him to go to Spreaker.
Spreaker.com.
Spreaker.com.
Well,
It's
sometimes I get my
the
signals.
YouTube is coincidental. It's a secondary thing. It's a podcast. I keep trying to tell Bill that.
Well, I wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
Can I have my other cat over there?
Yeah.
Isn't it all at AmericanDreamer.com?
Yes.
Yes, it's in right. There you go.
Joe's Lifelong Legacy. And you click it on, as we have our 15
Well,
shows.
is it an all dreamer? Is it the dreamer thing, or is it Joe's lifelong legacy? Is it
Well,
both, or what?
Both. It's the American Dreamer book is also my domain name. Joe's Lifelong Legacy.
Wait a second. Is it AmericanDreamerBook.com?
Yes.
Okay.
And Joe's Lifelong Legacy and
.com.
.com. And you can click on, they have lists of the 15 shows and hopefully 16.
All on that same website. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Good point.
Now, and it's easy to run through 3. And what I wanted to share with you, I have someone that's going to put us on their social media network, happens to be my landscaper. Heidi and Bill Boyer.
That reminds
Do
me
they have
of that-
podcasts too?
No, that reminds me of when my secretaries were selling mortgages in my offices, and the medical assistants were selling mortgages. That's when the economy went way down.
Yeah,
Remember
yeah,
that?
yeah.
They said they're going to advertise on their social media, the podcast and YouTube channel. And I might as well give them a plug. Dico Landscaping, DICO. And they've been working for me great. They've 8 years, and they've done a pretty good.
American Dreamer, sponsored by Dico Landscaping.
Amen.
Amen. Okay.
All right. The next musical selection. Woohoo! Woohoo! And this is what we're going to have a group interaction on this. John on the bongos, and James
The
doing
bongos.
percussion. And David, he's going to whistle.
He's got a kazoo.
You know, that would be a nice thing to have. Okay. So this is Sweet Caroline.
This needs no introduction. Right?
Yes, we need an introduction because John.
Now, wait a second. I may object to you playing this today because
I know that's what my introduction is.
wait.
John brought up something very interesting because you have the Super Bowl this weekend.
Yeah.
And he said the 2 cities that are represented in the Super Bowl, Los Angeles and Boston, were also in the World Series.
This is
And
true.
John is a diehard Yankee fan, which is also
Which has nothing to do with
anti-Boston fan.
Right. But Neil Diamond sings about LA. He sings, right?
Yeah, so he covers all the bases,
Yeah,
and they
that's
love it
fair.
when they say, so good, so good.
Right. Well, we might be going out with this song if you don't start it soon. So
Okay.
let's.
All right, so
let's
this
do
is Sweet Caroline by Neil Diamond. Where it began, I can't begin to knowing, but then I know it's growing strong. Was in the spring, and spring became to summer. Who'd have believed you'd come along? Hands, okay, we got it. Hands, touching hands, reaching out, touching me, touching you. Sweet Caroline,
Bum, bum, bum.
good times never seem so good.
So good, so good, so good.
I've been inclined to believe they never would, but now Did you do your thing, Dave?
Not yet, Bill. I will after the program, though.
Oh. Look at the night, and it don't seem so lonely. We fill it up with only two. And when I hurt, curtain runs off my shoulders. How can I hurt when I'm holding you? Warm, touching warm, reaching out, touching me, touching you. Sweet Caroline,
Bum, bum, bum.
ba, ba, ba. Good times never seem so good.
So good, so good,
So good, so good. I'm inclined to believe they never would. But now, sweet Caroline.
It's Dr. Caleb on the kazoo there.
All right.
Hey, that was great, Bill. Great. Thanks for letting me join in, Bill.
Did I forgot. You joined in, all right. Okay.
Bill, our bump bumps were off. You're
We
supposed
gotta
to
work
sing.
on the
Wait,
bump.
let's practice it, okay?
Okay.
Bum, bum,
Bum,
bum. That's the way it's supposed to go. I'm like
All right,
bum,
we're
bum,
gonna
bum.
do this next week.
Yeah.
Oh no, we're not. Okay.
No, what I was saying was that's what the Red Sox fan sings and what the Patriots fan all sing at their
I don't want to
Games
get you
and-
nauseous, John.
yeah. You had to do this before the Super Bowl. Come on. All right.
No, well, they came in with the thing. Okay. All right. We have some dreamer quotes that I really
Okay, so we got like 3 minutes.
we are going to do it.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Colin Powell, one of my heroes, General Colin Powell, just happens to be. These are some of the dreamer quotes that I picked off the internet, and I'll share it with you. And so Colin Powell is special. I'm going to go with him first. A dream doesn't become reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work. Now, John, you had something you wanted to show me. Do you still have it handy?
Oh, this is actually a little quote I got off the wall at at my school.
Oh, God, you tried.
It's very prolific. It's very
Yes,
okay.
please, please.
The meaning of life is to find your gift. The purpose of life is to give it away.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Very nice.
So
All right.
this is your gift, Bill. Give it away.
I have gifts all over the place. It's going to cost you, though. All right. And I was
Well, you know, there was a very famous person in both of our lives. He says nothing is free, Bill.
you know, there was Holocaust Memorial Day a few days ago, and David and I lost a very dear man, Cantor William Halbin, about a year ago.
Okay. Yeah.
And he
May
said,
rest in peace.
may he
Bill.
rest. He was a beautiful man. His life goes on. My first book, Light, Courage, and Hope with the Cantor. And he said, you cannot buy blessings. And also he said, nothing was free, except I wrote that book that was,
You never made any money. No.
I know it costs. All right, John, I'm walking and I see this on the car. I know what we're talking about, okay?
There's 2 minutes left.
Two.
That's what you do.
I'm going to give you one. Okay,
This
anyway.
is what you do in radio.
Listen,
2
all right.
minutes.
They're
So-
going to give you this
Give
one,
them-
Bill.
yeah.
you know.
This is so beautiful because this is so appropriate. You guys are giving me a. This was on the back of a car, and I took a picture of it.
Tell us what it says.
I'm gonna, and be patient because that's the first thing. Be patient, be forgiving, be nice to each other, have self-control, be slow to anger. If everybody had this on the back of their car, there would be a lot less.
I
don't
think
know.
that
I don't know.
is the perfect.
I don't know. I react to that
that's-
in a very angry way. Bill.
That's the perfect
I'm
way.
not
you know,
driving in-
that's,
I'm not
you know,
driving in back of you. That's for
That's
sure. Jay.
that's excellent, and I think it's a perfect way to end the show.
Well, no,
really-
the perfect way was that there was this other thing that was.
Oh, well,
It's for you, John. Look what it said on that sticker there.
it says, "I love my cat."
Isn't that beautiful? Okay,
All right.
a couple more. Be brave. Fight for what you believe in and make your dreams your reality. Only dreamers shall understand realities, though in truth his dreaming must be not out of proportion to his walking. That was Margaret Fuller. We are the music makers and we are dreamers of dreams. And that's David and I, because this man is a prolific and a proficient musician, piano, violin, and guitar. And
Should I just step in and end the show because we have 20 seconds left?
all right. Remember what I said about your dreams. If you could dream it, you can wish it, see it, and seize it. And first think, second believe, third dream, and finally dare. That was Walt Disney. And you know what he
Bye.
did. Okay.
Later.
Thank you, Bill Sefakar, your friend.
Still on YouTube though.
Okay.
You don't listen when we tell you it's.
I know,
over.
2
You don't
minutes.
listen. You don't listen. He doesn't listen.
We're on YouTube.
He doesn't
It's still
listen.
on YouTube.
We're on YouTube.
I know that. but
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Good,
you,
good
James.
job, Bill. And thanks for inviting me here.
We're going to be
And
back.
to all your YouTube fans, please stay tuned for Bill Sefakar and his ongoing, journey for Joe's lifelong legacy, American Dreamer, and It Works for Me. What a story this man is creating. He was in the, he just tried out for,
American
American
Dreamer.
Idol. He was going to be
American
American
Dreamer
Idol.
show.
That's right.
Yeah.
America's
and
Got
Bill-
Talent.
And America's Got Talent. And boy, I tell you, when they saw Bill, they knew America had talent. They wondered what country he was from, though. And Bill was the only trouble. But
I had to have an interpreter.
yeah, but in any event, he did a great job. And
Well, I'm still live. I like to put this in perspective. It's like when you buy your lotto tickets and, you walk around in your pocket, you're a multimillionaire,
because you're in a dreamer, that's why.
I know.
You're American Dreamer.
and they hadn't read the numbers. And even if they had read the numbers, you don't want to know the numbers. So you still carry that around and you say, I got this. It's a golden, So the same thing with
And you
the
don't want to
American
hear
Dreamer.
somebody who said they read the numbers like 3 weeks ago, and somebody
I
came.
still don't look at it.
Did you hear the guy that just won that lottery and where was it? For 3 days, he didn't even look at his ticket.
That's the
Oh, no,
way
I
you
didn't
win
know
it.
that.
And the guy that he worked with worked across the street from the store. He said, "Hey, somebody bought the winning ticket at the store across the street," and he still didn't check his ticket until 2 days later. And he said he carried it into the store and scanned it.
Oh,
And it broke the
God.
bank. Everything, the lights went off.
And
And
he scanned it, and he was like, "I won." He said he quit his job immediately.
How much was that for?
Oh, let me look it up here.
Well,
all right. Well, I made the analogy is that I haven't been notified either way by the America's Got Talent people. So in my mind,
The
I'm
ticket is
still
still in his
live.
Right, you still
pocket.
got the ticket,
They
yeah,
still got
I
the
still
ticket.
got the ticket.
Yeah.
I'm winning. I'm going to be there.
And you want to know something? Every school in Pinellas County, the kids are rooting for him. I got to tell
Oh, I
you.
bet.
I'm
Yeah.
telling you, they had this thing. They all sway, John, back and forth, like when you were doing
Uh-huh.
Sweet Caroline. It must be in the genes or something. They were all,
Well, they were all wearing jeans, is what happened.
well, my DNA. I have good DNA in my Calvin Klein DNA.
Well, you did a great show, Bill. You got a great initiative here. You got a great crew.
Yes.
And you know
We
what?
try.
Everybody has to start somewhere.
Yeah, you're
That's
right.
And you
You're
know what,
right.
Bill? It takes guts just to get started.
It does.
And so, you know what? We're not picking on you, because everybody out there should realize that it takes guts to put yourself in front of all these people. And it takes guts to put this whole operation together. And it takes guts to keep evolving and developing whatever material you need to put together to try to make something entertaining for other people. And, you know, we're all going to trip along the way. We're all going to do it. But you know what? The more you trip and the more you keep doing it, then, I mean, look at me, Bill. I mean, I'm not any great musician, like you say, but I've
are.
tripped along the way, but I think I'm getting a little better.
But you know what's so good about this?
Even Carl came over the other night, and, you know, Carl, my friend Carl, is a classical musician extraordinaire, Carnegie Hall material. But, you know, I ramble when I play. This guy plays like a precise, you know, computer in classical music on a guitar. So you can imagine that I might rub him the wrong way. But,
right.
But on the other hand, I think he came to the realization that maybe with my years of having studied in my way, which wasn't the precise way of a classical musician, and having learned the science of physics of sound and all the chords and the inversions and all of the keys, and knowing all this stuff, that I could look at what you're doing, and I may not be able to play the precise note, but I can hone into the key, I can modulate it, I can change it so that it's a jazz it up, I can take it up an octave down, I can take it up a half note, then squeeze it down and squeeze my sounds into your classical sounds. And in that process, somebody said one time, if you have a passion, just go along with your passion, and eventually, Bill, someone will recognize it. And I think that
I have
hopefully
so many
that's the
things
message for you.
about passions here that's so amazing. But I want to share with our listeners is that about 2 weeks ago, David and I went over to visit a friend of ours that has developed dementia.
Oh boy,
And
young man.
a very young man, and it's very sad. And but we brought our guitars over, and David wanted to bring the acoustic stuff with it. I said, David, let's just see what it was like. Well, what happened is we get into the area, the common area for the people, and they had a piano. David gravitated towards the piano, started playing, and we were there for over an hour and a half. We sang the whole litany of songs from America the Beautiful, Raindrops Keep Falling on My Head, Amore, all the stuff. I Left My Heart in San Francisco. David is just punching out the songs without the music. We had to have the words. We had the songbook, the little, what did spaghetti on top of spaghetti. It was fun. David accompanied us, so that tells you
That's
that
cool.
Yeah,
the
that was-
repertoire this man has.
Well, I mean, I just listen to your voices. That's why I always tell you to sing it out, Bill, because it's hard.
Sing it out.
It's hard to play
Sing
along
it
with
out.
somebody if you can't hear them, and then I don't know where to go.
Oh, true.
You know, it's like I can't catch the note, I can't catch the key, I can't catch where to go, I can't catch the melody, and I don't. I think one of the reasons that I play the way I do is that they asked you, how do you remember all those words? How do you remember all those? Because I never remember anything. And so, I mean, I remember a snippet from a
It's all
song
here.
here, and I remember a snippet thing. And of course, I played a lot of these songs like Bill, but so I know some of the chords. But the only trouble is that, you learn that a lot of these musicians, they change the tuning on their guitars. And a lot of people tune their instruments to their voice.
Yeah.
So really, it's like cheating when you really think of it in the long term of how the instruments go. Because I'm like, this is a guitar, and this should be an E, and this should be like an A, and a D, and a G, and you're going like, this guy just tuned the whole thing. in
David
the key
is a
of D.
purist, and
Yeah.
up until last year, he didn't realize I tuned my guitar to my voice because it's a lower, and I go, that's how I get my hand.
Yeah,
And this is
and I'm
2
going like,
octaves
I
higher.
couldn't figure out what the hell is going on because
What the hell's going on,
because
Bill?
he's got this tuner on his guitar here, and he always tuned everything 1/2 below. So it was a D was a D flat, an E was an E flat. Everything was he did it perfectly. He could tune it perfectly to his voice. And I'm going like, I can't figure out what the hell is going on here because I tuned. And then
boy.
when I would play with him, he'd go crazy. You know what I mean? So figuring out where to put the capo and get with his voice and then his tuning. And finally we agreed that we're going to do standard tuning and maybe he'll use a capo or we'll try to figure it out. So we're getting there, but
We're gonna get an album recorded. We can do it digitally now. We can.
well, you know,
have some
hopefully we
fun.
got a long
Are you
way
gonna
to go.
record it in? Is this gonna be your studio?
No, we have
I know, I'm
another
just kidding.
possible guest who I would love to have. Joy.
Yeah, this
Katzen
girl is
Guthrie
this girl's
from
a
our studio.
professional. I mean,
Okay.
this girl's a songbird. I mean, this girl is nothing like what you've heard today. I mean, this girl,
She has a
girl-
keyboard. She'll bring it
this
in.
girl, this gal is like beyond good. Okay, she's Carnegie Hall material.
Cool.
Yes.
And she's you know, she can play all kinds of venues. I mean, if you were a musician, you would want to know what's in her head. I have to tell you.
Well,
because
there are 2
she's
songs on
lived
my
it.
second CD that we used her accompaniment. One was Higher Ground, John Denver, which is beautiful. That was one of his last albums. And the other one was Simon and Garfunkel was 59th Street Bridge song. Slow down, you move to, and she did the accompaniment on it and made all the difference in the world. Okay, well, it's almost time for
Chili.
Chilling.
yes.
We're gonna chill now. Is that the idea? We're gonna chill.
Yes.
Chill,
And we're
chill,
not
chill.
going to kill Bill, okay?
No kill Bill.
No.
chill Bill.
We're gonna
chill.
talk to Bill though.
They're not going to talk to me after this. They give me the silent treatment.
Right.
Well, Bill, just think of it this way, John. He brought you here. I think he's paying you guys too. So it's you know,
It's a job.
it's a job, man. I
It's
mean,
a
you know,
job.
if a guy
And-
wants to
and
spend,
that- and
if a
any
guy wants to
job-
spend his money that way, go ahead.
That's
What
true.
can I
throw
tell
my
you?
money away. This is how the best way.
Right.
But
If
John,
it's his party. You know, I do
Yeah,
the
no,
same thing.
and
it's
I
his
can
party.
cry if I want to.
Yeah, that's right,
Remember that
all
song? Okay.
Are you having a good time, Bill?
Of course. I'm
That's
laughing
all
and
that matters.
scratching.
This is your party, Bill. You can
Uh,
have a, you know,
John,
I'm doing this because I like it.
I know. John has you to thank. He wasn't going to thank you just yet. But I said that David is the reason why I've known John for 15 years. For
Yeah,
doing,
you're right.
and he brought
Thanks,
us together
David.
on that.
That's right. Community access, right?
Thanks, David.
Maybe it was community access.
I like the
don't
way he
know.
said that. Thanks, David.
But I think,
Thanks,
John,
David.
you're good at what you do.
That's
man.
like
I mean,
that's
it's
like
okay.
hello, Newman.
Yeah, you got some good
Little
repartee
Seinfeld
there, buddy,
dig.
and that's really you got a good batting back and forth. It's nice to see. You ought to be on serious, radio.
You
there,
never
buddy.
know. You never know.
You never. Well, I don't know.
We're
I
going
don't
to
know.
find out. Tune in next week. All right. Can we sign off there, Sir James?
He says
This
yes.
is Bill Cephakar with John Casimiro, James Worley, and I'll let you do the honors.
And special guest,
Yes.
David Kalin, MD, MPH, chairman of the International Board of Medicine and Surgery.
And
Thank you,
you are
Ben.
just hearing the beginning of this because this man is on a mission worldwide, international. He's helping people on the front lines, saving lives, and not here in the United States. He's doing that too. We've done that for over 35 years, but he's branching out. There's a lot of people out there that need help like that. Thank you, David. God bless you.
Is that it? Okay.
Let's get to chili and we'll come back. We'll get